He brings a conservative point of view to black issues. His mission, to provide a forum for honest discussions about social issues without the liberal lapdogs shutting down the discussion. Broadcasting from the American Truth Project Studios in beautiful Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This is Conservative Nation with your host, Jermaine Butzio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Conservative Nation with me, your host, Jermaine Butzio, streaming out of the great state of Minnesota. And let me tell you something, here in Minneapolis, it's a scorching 83 degrees. Children are at their first day of school. Hallelujah! Let me tell you. And, everything seems to be very kosher in my part of the woods right now. Hopefully it is in your neck of the woods. One thing I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys look at what's going on in the news, somebody needs to be impeached. Somebody needs to be impeached. As a matter of fact, somebody's a murderer of children. Murder of children. I want folks to understand this. There's a person sitting in office, ladies and gentlemen, who has killed 6 children. Yup, and he goes by the name of Sleepy Joe Biden. He's killed 6 children, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. The media does not want to talk about it. His botched drone attack killed 6 children. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 Afghan civilians, including 6 children. I kid you not. They went and lied and they said that they caught some terrorist leader. They killed some ISIS-K leader. These people are liars. They're evil. Absolutely evil. We're going to speak about that tonight. Very good reporting from the Gateway Pundit. And let me tell you something. All these other outlets are speaking about the killer in office. Let me tell you. But you know who's not speaking about the killer in office? CNN. Right? I thought CNN were for women and children. Right? Biden killed women and children. Right? You ain't going to talk about this? All this caping for Afghan women? All this caping for Afghan children? CNN, where you at? Wow! My goodness gracious. Fox News, where you at? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, we are living in some very dark times right now. Excuse me. Woo! Almost caught myself that man, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! The occupier, the occupier in chief there. we shall say. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a murderer. That's what he is. He is. He deserved to go to jail. He need to be charged. Some sort of war crimes. Joe Biden needs to be charged, ladies and gentlemen. Killed women and children and then lied to the U.S. And the thing is, they're not even, the lying is so bad, right? They can't even get a hold of the message that as soon as they got done lying, the truth came out. That's how bad the administration is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ran by crooks. And the number one person who is sitting there deserved to go to jail. Let me tell you. I don't know why nobody's really speaking about this. Man ordered a drone attack, killed women and children. Nobody says a gosh darn a word. Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Make sure ya share. I'm ready to flame. I'm ready to flame, baby. Absolutely. Hopefully you guys are too. We got a lot to discuss tonight. And we want to make sure, ladies and gentlemen, we reach the people we need to reach. There's a lot of folks who need to hear the message, right? No PCs, it's straight up, right? White folks call it straight talk, right? Black folks call it real talk. You know what I call it? I call it being wrong. Absolutely. Being wrong. I don't care about your feelings. Yeah, I don't. Jump off a cliff. Yeah. First one up here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and speak about a Chicago mother. Apparently, this Chicago mother is very, very popular right now. And it's for the wrong reason, ladies and gentlemen. This Chicago mother was stripped from seeing her 11-year-old son over her refusal to get the vaccination. Now, no matter what, side of the fence you're on, in my eyes, this is a pretty bad deal. Now, the way they are explaining this, ladies and gentlemen, they are pushing a narrative in a sense that isn't complete. And I want to let folks know that this Chicago mother was accused of being on drugs. And I want folks to understand that her ex-husband accused her of drugs, ripping and running the streets. I want folks to understand this. And that's how this whole COVID thing got brought up in the pandemic. And I want people to understand it. So I want you to get the full scope of what's going on here. Father is worried about his child. Mother is known for doing drugs. They ain't going to tell you this, right? She's known for doing drugs, ripping and running. That's why there is a custody hearing. Because the father wants the child. They don't want to speak about it like this. Right? Yeah, Jermaine like getting down to the truth. And with the pandemic going on, the father, the judge, even the lawyer were concerned with her behavior, running back and forth like this. That's why they brought up the COVID nonsense, the COVID vaccine. It's not being explained like this, ladies and gentlemen. The news, you got to do a better job. Let me go ahead and run this when it come back. I want to get your honest take on this here. Woman known for doing drugs, a druggie, ripping and running the streets. The father is in a custody battle with the mama. They both got 50-50 right now. Put that into perspective. Here we go. Make sure you share. Don't treat me like your last boyfriend. Share.
And a Fox 32 exclusive. Tonight, a mother says that a Cook County judge took away her parental rights after learning she's not vaccinated.
Dane Flacco is at Daily Plaza with details on this story. Dane?
It may be a first-of-its-kind case. A Cook County judge here at the Daily Center has stripped a Chicago mom of her parenting rights because she's refused to get the COVID vaccine.
And she ripping and running the streets, doing drugs. Look at her face.
You miss him.
I miss him more than anything.
Rebecca Furlet has been divorced for 7 years and shares custody of her 11-year-old son with her ex-husband. What had been a 50-50 split in parenting time. But on August 10th, in an unrelated child support hearing, Cook County Judge James Shapiro asked Furlet whether she'd been vaccinated. When she told the judge no because she's had bad reactions to vaccines in the past, Judge Shapiro stripped Furlet of all of her parenting time until she agrees to get vaccinated.
I think that it's wrong. I think that it's dividing families, and I think that it's not in my son's best interest to be away from his mother.
Furlet is now asking the appellate court to stay the judge's order. Her attorney saying the judge has overstepped his authority.
You have to understand, the father did not even bring this issue before the court. So it's the judge on his own making this decision that you can't see your child until you're vaccinated.
We just wanted the mother to pay support.
The father's attorney, Jeffrey Leving, says while they were surprised by the order, he believes the judge is making the right call.
Absolutely. Me too.
And there are children that have died because of COVID. I think every child should be safe. And I agree that the mother should be vaccinated.
He fighting hard for the daddy. Look at him.
In other custody cases as well. No word on when the appellate court will make its decision. At the Daily Center, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Bow. There you go. So that's what it is. Mama got stripped of custody because of this COVID-19 vaccine. She didn't want to take it, right? She apparently, they're saying that she owes money to the daddy for child support, right? And you know already about the child support game, right? Absolutely. And what is not being told, once more again, that this woman here, ladies and gentlemen, is a druggie. It's not being told. It's not being told that they had, ladies and gentlemen, concerns with her ripping and running the streets. And let me go ahead and show you guys this. Even by looking at her face here. Let me go ahead and show you guys this here. Right? If you've been in, in the professional business like myself, working with folks in and out of treatment centers, transition facilities, you start picking up on a lot of, these symptoms that people do, these character traits that they exhibit. And one thing I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, just by looking at her, I can tell you she on something.
I think that it's dividing families, and I think that it's not in my son's best interest to be away from his mother.
She's on. You can even look at her eyes. Look at her eyes, even right here. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, she on something. Now, her teeth ain't gone, so I wouldn't say meth. Maybe she on coke. Maybe she on meth. She could be on meth. There's some folks who look like this. But I can tell you she on something. She definitely is on something. And that's one of the main reasons why, the judge made that decision as well. Now, going forward here, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. There's an update to this story, and I want to share it with you guys. Let me go ahead and transition here. This comes from ChicagoTribune.com. All right? Straight up from Chicago. Let me go ahead and transition. Cook County judge rescinds order stripping unvaccinated woman of child custody rights. So, ladies and gentlemen, what happened here, let me tell you, is very, very, very simple. The judge got scared and got hit with the backlash, right? Because of the way the report came out. So what the judge did was rescind his order. Let me go ahead and read a little bit. You guys can follow along. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. And it goes on to say here, a Cook County judge who took away a woman's child custody rights because she hadn't vaccinated against the COVID-19 rescinded that order Monday, meaning that the woman will again be able to see her 11-year-old son, lawyer said. Rebecca Furlet and her ex-husband were in child support hearing August 10th when a judge, James Shapiro, asked if she had been vaccinated. All right. And it goes on to say she told the judge she reacted badly to other vaccines and under medical orders not to receive the shot. Shapiro suspended her parenting time until she demonstrates sufficient proof to the court of vaccination against COVID-19. All right. So what it's looking like here, and it says on Monday, Shapiro rescinded the order. Furlow said that she wasn't sure it would end the matter. There you go. So there you go. There you go. So this whole ordeal is over for her. She's able to still do drugs and see her child. I mean, it's very hard to take, children away from mama. Mama could be doing drugs right in front of the judge's face, gosh darn it, and it is very hard. So when I hear that just gosh darn a COVID vaccine can take away a child from a mama, that's severe. That's how you know it's severe. Because usually, ladies and gentlemen, mama be drugged, gosh darn, the syringe right in her arm. Judge see it, still allow the children to go with the mama. It's crazy and it's wild. But this one looked like, it ended in her favor. We shall see if, she does right by her child, the judge, and the situation. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys do me a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. I need your guys' help. As you guys know, we're getting hit with these people here. They don't like us, right? They don't. Next one up here. I want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and speak about a viral video that was put on TikTok. And it's about a liberal who speaks about the racial bias in the criminal system. And he's using two stories as an example, which involve the same prosecutor. I want to go ahead and run this. When it comes back, I want to speak about it because liberals love making these, type of, claims of racial bias. They like to point out these differences, I should say. And what really happens, ladies and gentlemen, is that they don't tell the truth about a lot of what's going on and what really made these type of decisions. I want to go ahead and run it. When it come back, we will surely discuss this. Make sure you share. Here we go.
Hey, meet Carla and Debbie. They were sentenced by the same Ohio court one day apart for similar crimes. And although they had different judges, they had the same prosecutor. Carla pled guilty to 1 count. Debbie pled no contest to 22 counts. Carla stole $40,000 and went into voluntary treatment for a gambling problem. Debbie stole $238,000 over the course of 20 years. Carla was facing a maximum 3 years in prison. Debbie was facing a maximum 60 years in prison. And remember, they had the same prosecutor? He recommended 12 months for both of them. Carla got 18 months in prison, 6 months more than the prosecutor asked for. Debbie, 2 years probation, no prison time. Aren't you interested in examining the system in place that allows this type of disparity to happen? Well, that's critical race theory. Not calling any one individual racist, but examining the system in place that allows this type of thing to happen. And if you're against that, then you're cool with this, and you don't want to see things change.
Wow. So there you go. You got a hippie looking liberal here. He might have smoked a joint before he hopped on here to tell you this nonsense here. But let's go back and revisit what he's talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's use our thinking caps, right? If you know a liberal who's dumb and retarded, make sure you share this, all right? I know a lot of liberals who are dumb and retarded. A whole bunch of my family. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. All right. So he's talking about these two folks here, right? Carla's black, Debbie's white, right? He's talking about they had this similar crime, same prosecutor, right? And what he is hinging on, right, is that you're dumb and retarded, ladies and gentlemen. He's hinging on that you can't think for yourself, right? Because he takes all his talking points from the liberals. Liberals aren't smart. They're not critical thinkers. They like to hear somebody say something and then they retort it back with the same cockamamie logic. If you go ahead and look at these mitigating circumstances, right, you will probably find that Carla may have had a public defender, right? In the hood, we call that the PD. And you probably would find out that Debbie had a private attorney, right? Yeah, she probably spent some bread for a real nice, fancy attorney. Another mitigating factor that these people aren't speaking about. Did Carla take a plea, right? Were there any plea deals taken? He never speaks about that, right? You never speak about any plea deals taken. That can affect the way a lot of these sentences come out. Another one. Their background, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Right? Something that liberals don't like to speak about, because once you do that, you blow the argument out of the water. What is the background of Debbie, right? Has Debbie been to jail before? Right? Has she been arrested before? You know, has she had any priors? Has Carla been arrested before? Has she any priors, right? What is her psychological makeup? Ladies and gentlemen, all these go into the decision of sentencing. Right? That's something that he glossed over. The only thing these liberals want you to think about and believe is the color, right? Hey, these two people did the same crime. One is black, one is white. This person got 10 years. This person got 0 years. See, that's racist. That's it. Plain and simple, ladies and gentlemen. That's the liberal philosophy. It's dumb and retarded. That's it. That's exactly what he did. It took me 10 seconds to do what he did. Right? Carla, Debbie. One got 22 counts, the other one count. Both the same thing. Done. But it's not the truth. And liberals push this, ladies and gentlemen, in our culture. And the people who are mad at their position in life, the people who are away from God, away from the source, believe it, hold on to it, and push it out themselves. So I wanted to make sure that folks truly understand what's going on. That when liberals put these things out here, they're not telling you the complete truth. They're hinging on that you get triggered by these color words. I want folks to understand. That's the way they're thinking. They throw these color words. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, you're wrapped up in your emotion, right? And then it bypasses your conscious brain and hit your subconscious. These people are slick. They are very, very, very slick, and they know it. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share, all right? I need your help. I certainly do. Let me go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and give out a shout out here. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my girl, Teresa Capone. Took the $5 challenge. Shout out to you. And I want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and give a shout out to my guy, Pete Larson. Shout out to you. Pete Larson took the $5 challenge. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Moving forward here, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. And then this guy spoke about CRT. That's not CRT, sir. These people here, they think they're slick. I want you to know they think they're slick. They're dumb as rocks. And this guy here is dumb as rocks to be putting something out like this. He didn't even bring out the lawyers. He didn't bring out any of the facts that would, really hinder on what was going on with that situation. He didn't even do it. These people here, ladies and gentlemen, they think they're slick. I want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and run this story coming from the Daily Wire. It's about a firefighter who is being fired because what they're saying is during a department photo, he decided to flash the OK sign, right? And apparently there's some people who saw the photo and said it was a white power sign. So now this firefighter is in a whole heap of trouble all over a gosh darn sign. I want to go ahead and run this when it come back. I want to get your take on it. Do you think that it's a white power sign? Do you think it's the OK sign? People make this sign and play the circle game. If you know what the circle game, you make this sign. If somebody sees it, you're able to get a free shot, right? You get a free lick on them. You get to hit them with your fist. Right? I don't know if women don't play the game. Yeah, I know women don't play that game, but guys do. Right? Guys are brutes like that. We like playing that game. I got you. Come over here. Let me hit you. Yeah, that's the way the game rolls. Let me go ahead and run it when it come back. I want to get your take on this. Is it bizarre? Or, ladies and gentlemen, do you think it's the right thing for the department to do? And the chief, ladies and gentlemen, is a black American. Just to let everybody know. Here we go.
On our air, Alexandria Fire Department members in hot water being investigated for possibly flashing a racist symbol on our air.
During the last Friday event in Alexandria, a fire department member decided to flash what is the OK gesture as the camera was passing by. Well, we confirmed with fire department officials today that member has since been placed on administrative leave with pay. Now, it happened so quickly, it's kind of hard to catch here, but it is the last Alexandria Fire Department member on the right who first makes fists and then does that OK gesture just before the camera cuts to our two anchors. A viewer email came into Fox 5 shortly after with a screen grab of this member, the emailer asking why there's a gang symbol on TV, stating it needs to be addressed. We asked the department about it. Now, we should note here the OK hand symbol, it was used as part of a punching game if you flashed it. It is used by scuba divers communicating underwater. It's also listed by the Anti-Defamation League as a gesture of hate, sometimes used to express white power. Now, I did get to ask the fire chief today about it, if he knew the member's intention behind doing this. Chief Corey Smedley told me no, that he has not talked to this member yet, but there will be an investigation. I also asked, what if it turns out that this was done out of some kind of joke?
A joke is only if someone is not offended by it, and it's always in the eyes of the beholder.
Look at
just
them.
because someone may have thought things were a joke,
offended by every gosh darn thing.
Is up to our values within the department.
Every gosh darn thing they offended by.
It's scary that you can be charged, tried, and convicted on social media without your permission, with no corroborating evidence of any type.
A local SDG&E worker has been fired after allegations of racism were made against him. Now he's speaking exclusively to NBC7 about what he calls a major misunderstanding. He says his employer jumped to conclusions and he should not have lost his job.
Absolutely,
has the story.
It all started about 2 weeks ago near a Black Lives Matter rally in Poway. Emmanuel Cafferty says he had an interaction with a member of the public that later got posted on Twitter. He says shortly after he was fired by his employer, SDG&E.
This was the tweet that Emmanuel Cafferty says started it all. It shows an SDG&E worker making a hand gesture that some say is a white supremacist sign.
When my supervisor said that I was being accused of doing a white supremacist gesture, that was baffling.
Cafferty is the man in the picture and says he had no idea what the symbol meant. He was just cracking his knuckles. But shortly after, he was informed that he was suspended by SDG&E pending an investigation, and a few days later, he was fired.
I do that a lot when I'm driving. It has no racist intent behind it, and I was confident that I would be able to, with my character, show SDG&E that I'm not a racist.
According to the Anti-Defamation League, this hand sign has been used in recent years by white supremacists as a white power gesture. But a post on the organization's website says that it is also widely used as a sign signifying approval and therefore shouldn't be assumed to be a white supremacy symbol unless there's other evidence to support those claims.
I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over this, but to lose your dream job for playing with your fingers, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Absolutely. Losing your job for playing with your fingers. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Black folks are offended by every gosh darn thing. It blows my mind. That's what happens when majority of black men are raised by the mama. Tell me I told a lie. When you're raised by your mama, you think like a woman. You act and feel like a woman. You may be a grown man, but you think and act and feel like a woman. And I want the women to understand, the only people who are supposed to think and act and feel like a woman is a woman. And I want the women to understand that. The guys aren't supposed to act and feel like a woman. They're not. But these guys out here, the black men, no matter how tough they look, let me tell you, no matter how tough, let me say this again, no matter how tough, no matter how many muscles they have, like Terry Crews, raised by his mama, crying like his mama, they act and feel and think like a woman. You can't get over it. This man talked about jokes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, if people are offended by a joke, I mean, that's not a joke. Then maybe comedy should stop then, sir. By your logic, comedy should stop. Nobody should be telling jokes then. Holy smokes. When mama come in, she destroy everything. Now you can't even tell a joke. And these people, ladies and gentlemen, want to fire, well, they already fired them, for a hand gesture, a okay sign. Right? Here's another one. Over nonsense. This is what, ladies and gentlemen, guys do. Grown guys play this game. In the Army, they play this game. And you mean to tell me because some idiot out there with a crooked eye, I think that's a white power symbol. Get him out of there. Get him out. One person gets offended, all of a sudden, oh my goodness gracious, we got to get rid of him. And of course, it's going to be the black fire chief. Probably said, oh, that's a white power sign? Oh, my gosh. We're going to have to get all the races from this department. Boy, I'm telling you, you allow black liberals, white feminists, liberal women into your organization, let me tell you, they're going to destroy it. They're going to destroy it in a heartbeat. This is ridiculous. America's ate up, ladies and gentlemen. America's ate up. America is ate up right now. You can't say nothing. If you do, somebody trying to get you fired. Somebody trying to make sure you can't live. We got to, ladies and gentlemen, stop it. We have to. And one of the best ways for us to stop is start pointing the nonsense out. All the stuff that you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is a and I hate saying it, but I can't get around. It's like a female mentality. right? When we speak about nanny state, and I want the women to understand, we speaking about you, right? When we speak about a lot of this nonsense that's going on, we're speaking about the female mentality, right? The insecure mentality. You see, when you're raised by your mama, you're always insecure, right? You're always into your emotion. That's exactly our culture. And when I spoke about the single mama epidemic in this country, there's people who get mad at me, right? They keep saying, Jermaine, you must really hate women, right? That's the idiots out there. Jermaine, you must really hate women. I can't believe you're always talking about single moms. You must hate single moms, huh? You must got a few baby moms, huh, to be speaking like that, huh, Jermaine? Right? This is the way people attack me when I'm giving them the skinny about the reason why a lot of this nonsense is happening. Our children, our new generation of citizens, ladies and gentlemen, have been raised by their mama. Do you understand? And when you're raised, I even have to do this because there's so many retarded people out there. When you're raised by your mama, you adopt mental character traits. I want people to understand that, right? You mimic. Let me drop it even lower, right? I'll bring the IQ down a little bit. You mimic, right? You act monkey see, monkey do, right? You see how elementary I can get? Monkey see, monkey do, right? That's the way the children act when they grow up, right? Because there's a programmer there. The programmer is their mama. So they take these mental characteristics when they're growing up. They see their mama act to stress stimuli, right? She gets mad flustered, right? When she gets stressed. The children pick up on that. When they go to school, they do the exact same thing as their mama, right? I want folks to understand. Their mama is insecure. Most women are insecure about their body and about what they say, right? They don't want to be judged. I don't want to be judged. All that, I don't want to be judged, that shaming crap come from women. I hate having to say, but guys don't do this. So I want people to understand we have a new generation, a new population that think, act, and feel like liberal women. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, they have been raised like that. They know no better. Do you understand? I want people to understand. They know no better. That's why the guys are soft. Right? That's why the guys talk and act and feel like a woman. That's why we got this nonsense going on where you can't even show a circle sign when you're playing a game because some idiot out there who was raised by his mama, who thinks, acts, and feel like a woman, insecure about themselves, in their emotion, want to take you down. And women tell me I told a lie. You know it through and through that this is female behavior. You know it. Guys don't complain about this. Guys complain about this, you get laughed out. But no, if you act, think, and feel like a woman when most of your population is like that, guess what? You act like that, the rest will go along with it. Why do you think, ladies and gentlemen, why do you think homosexuality, LGBTQ, transgender, and all this nonsense is able to flourish? How do you think it's able to flourish? It's able to flourish because most of our generation thinks, acts, and feel like a liberal woman. That's why. Women accept LGBTQ. Most of them do. They have no problems hanging out with a gay friend. Right? Ain't that right, women? You go ahead and ask the guys who are straight. How many straight guys hang out with gay men? None. So I want the women to understand when we speak about living in reality, accepting perversion, right? Not standing on morals. We speak about the female mentality because she's the first one to accept it. Do you understand? And this is not a dig at women. I'm just pointing out what the truth is. I'm pointing out what people don't want to speak about. Because everything you see here is a liberal female mentality that has gone wild. And we have to deal with it. We have to deal with body shaming, right? We have to deal with, all this other nonsense. All this feelings crap. And it has done nothing for our society. And I want the women to understand, us warring and internalizing our feelings has done nothing but destroy this nation. And I want people to understand this. What has sitting back, worrying about your feelings have done? This nation's all about feelings and it's being destroyed. So I want people to use common sense here, right? A lot of this here is a mentality that has been pushed and it has been, ladies and gentlemen, evilly constructed. They know exactly what they are doing. That's why they want to break up the family. That's why they have no qualms about, the big single mama epidemic, and most women don't understand it. And I'm letting you know the reason why. They're using the women to destroy our nation. And the women got to be abreast about it. While they put all these influences out here, you don't need a man and all this other crap. I want you to know, when you raise your child will think, act, and feel like you. And I want the women to understand that. You go ahead and look at your children that you raised. You can see the feminine traits in them. You can. And the women know what I'm talking about. You know it, right? You know it. You can see the feminine, you can see your traits in the children, right? You can see it. Especially the guys, you can see it. So I want those women to understand. The men that you're raising is not a natural man in a sense. He has not come back to his natural form. Do you understand? And that's the main reason why we have this nonsense. Moving forward, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. Somebody needed to hear that. All right? Somebody did. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to Tracy Chandler. Tracy Chandler, beautiful woman. Absolutely. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, Republicans and conservatives, they do know this, but they don't want to put that label on it. They don't want to, put it out like the way I did, because they fear the backlash. But when you think about it, right, you know it through and through. You know it through and through. So you have to be honest about it. And I wish the national people would be honest about it too, because it's a very big problem. It is. Moving forward, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you share. I want to go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and show you guys this crazy clip. And it deals with an Afghan news anchor. Apparently, he was forced on air to praise the new Taliban regime. There were some Taliban guys standing behind him. This looked quite crazy. I want you guys to take a look at this. Here we go. Make sure you share for me.
به نام خدا با عرض سلام و درود بر شما بیننده های شبکه جهانی افغانستان. به ویژه برنامه پرداز باز هم شما را خوش آمدید میگویم. میربایس حیدری حق دوست هستم، شما را دعوت میکنم تا پایان این برنامه با ما همراه باشین. حالا که نظام اشرف غنی سقوط کرده و آقای غنی از افغانستان فرار کرده و در افغانستان ایده‌ای که منتقد اشرف غنی هستند میگویند که رئیس جمهور فراری و مردم تنها گذاشت و خودشان رفتند و حالا امارت اسلامی برگشته و امارت اسلامی را مجاهدینش هم تلاش میکنند که در افغانستان باید صلح و ثبات ایجاد شود و یگانه خواستشان از مردم این است که با امارت اسلامی باید همکار باشند و از این چیز حراس.
There you go. Now, I can't speak Mahmoud's in them language, you know. I don't know Mahmoud and them, you know. I don't know their language, but what I can surmise is that they probably said, hey, if you don't praise us, we're going to whoop ya. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like some, some ass whooping language there. The Taliban, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to make their image on the world stage known. That's what they're trying to do. The last plane to leave Afghanistan took off today. I believe early in the morning was the last flight. There's still Americans over there, ladies and gentlemen. The administration does not know how many Americans are left behind. We had a 235-year promise that we would never leave any Americans behind. We would never negotiate with terrorists. All that is out of the window right now. It's out of the window. Either you're going to negotiate and get our troops back, get our Americans back, or you're not. Or you're going to go back in. And if you go back in, more than likely, you're going to go into a war. And Biden says he's not going to do that. He's not going back in there. So he has really created, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very deadly situation for a lot of people in that region and across the world right now. It's a very, very, very terrible situation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and show you guys this. This comes from gatewaypundit.com. Make sure you guys share, all right? I need your help. Report: Biden regime targets ISIS-K terrorists in Kabul. Missile strike kills 3 to 6 children instead. Ouch! That's an ouch right there. The Biden regime can't find all the Americans in Afghanistan. They don't know the exact number of Americans stranded in the country, like I just told you. But we're supposed to believe Biden and the U.S. military were able to identify 2 ISIS-K bombers and incinerate them in a Kabul missile strike. Right? So it says 7 to 9 people, including 7 children, were killed today in the U.S. missile strike here, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys can see here from Nazib Zadron. All right, that is their news situation. What do you guys think about this here, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think? Now, I have a video here that I want to run as well. And when it comes back, I want to speak about this. Biden, like I said, he needs to be brought up on war crimes. You went and killed 6 children. You killed women as well. Ladies and gentlemen, had this been Trump, he would have been hanged by his nuts. Do you understand? They would have hung Trump by his nuts. they would have been speaking about how he murdered women and children, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they would say. I want people to understand this. This is serious. They're not going to speak about it this way, but Biden killed women and children. So while they can sit there and tap dance and act like he didn't do nothing, he ordered it. He killed women and children, ladies and gentlemen. He did. He needs to be held accountable. I want to go ahead and run this when it come back. I want to speak about it. These people, ladies and gentlemen, are criminals. They went and told us and lied straight to our face. Yeah, we killed some ISIS-K members, in this retaliatory attack. This retaliatory attack killed 10 civilians, 6 children. Holy smokes, man. Where's the media on this? Let me go ahead and run this.
U.S. troops are among the last to leave among international forces. And while huge numbers of Afghans have been flown out, many who want to leave are stranded. This and the looming humanitarian crisis have set off a flurry of diplomatic moves. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will hold a virtual meeting with several allies, including Qatar and Turkey, while France and the UK will urge the UN Security Council to protect civilians and ensure a safe passage for those who want to escape. We have 3 correspondents covering all these developments in Afghanistan. Kristen Salumi is live at the United Nations to give us more details on what's being discussed there. For the latest on the ground in Kabul, we have Rob McBride standing by. But first, let's take you to Alan Fisher. He's at the White House to address that Pentagon briefing. So very clear there, the message which the Pentagon is trying to emphasize is that they've done a huge job when it comes to evacuations, right, Alan?
That's right. And John Kirby is saying, look, no one could have expected the Afghan government to collapse quite so quickly. There were people suggesting that that might happen. So there will be questions after this about whether or not there was a huge intelligence failure, as there was 20 years ago when Osama bin Laden coordinated the attacks in the United States on 9/11, which precipitated the US going into Afghanistan in the first place. What was interesting, of the 5 rockets that were launched at the airport overnight, only 1 landed, 1 was intercepted by the rocket system, 3 landed outside the airport. But this talk about how they are able to continue to target people even after the United States pulls out is what they've talked about for a long time, this over-the-horizon security capability to be able to still neutralize threats that they see. And I know from speaking to people over the last few hours that the Americans really want this operation to be done. They want to get to the deadline. They want all the American troops out. Every American who wants to leave, they want them out. They want to remove as many Afghans as they possibly can and do it without loss of life, because as we've seen, 13 lives lost at the end of last week and then a number of civilians killed as the Pentagon says it targeted what was potentially a car bomb in Kabul on Sunday. They really just want to wake up on Wednesday or Thursday morning and have the headache of processing all these people rather than have the headache of ending America's presence in Afghanistan after 20 years.
And kind of related to that, you and I were chatting before the show about the whole issue of counter-terrorism operations, security cooperation. That came up in the press briefing, didn't it, about what sort of, as the Americans are calling it, over-the-horizon counter-terrorism capabilities will be maintained and how much coordination will there be with the Taliban?
What is clear is that at the moment the realpolitik dictates that the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan, they're in charge of Kabul, therefore the United States has to work closely with them to make sure that this operation continues as smoothly as possible. What happens in the future? Well, we have already heard from the Taliban, who condemned the attack that targeted the so-called spotter, the senior ISIL figure that was killed in a drone attack. And then they also condemned the attack on Sunday, which we believe may have killed innocent civilians. What is clear from speaking to some security people,
there you go, killed innocent civilians.
There will be sharing of intelligence with the Taliban. They say it's a complicated situation, but they believe that there is too much overlap between ISIL-K and the Taliban, even though the two groups are meant to be in opposition. There are still links between the two groups, and therefore the United States isn't going to flag anything up before it carries out an operation. If they think, in John Kirby's words, that there is a threat to the United States or to Americans emanating from Afghanistan, then they will act. They said that although the US and the war in Afghanistan, that's come to an end, what will not end is this commitment to continue to protect Americans. So it will be complicated. Excuse me. There may be discussions on a diplomatic level between the Taliban and the United States, but the idea of them sharing intelligence, according to the people I've been speaking to, seems far-fetched unless there is a common goal, unless there is something that the Taliban need dealt with or have highlighted, and the United States believes it's also in its interest to take some action.
And I want to stop it right here. So there you go. So he goes in and lets you guys know what the deal is, right? There were some rockets that were thrown at the Kabul airport. One landed, two of them were dispersed away. All right. He also spoke about the drone attack that killed some innocent civilians, right? He glossed over it real quick. He's letting you guys know that the Biden administration doesn't even know what's going on. You know, this situation is really a big blunder. It really is. Huge, huge blunder, ladies and gentlemen. Huge. Now, the Pentagon reporter, well, not reporter, but the spokesperson, John Kirby, all right, he spars with a reporter over the cooperation that the U.S. has with the Taliban. I want you guys to hear this because this is a very, very interesting exchange. The Taliban, ladies and gentlemen, is a organization with their main goal, ladies and gentlemen, of, taking over that region. They want to set up a caliphate. The Taliban is a terrorist organization from, the U.S. standard of being terrorists, right? And I want people to understand that. The U.S. is doing business with terrorists. Now, there's people out here who believe that this is somehow the first time that the U.S., in a sense, has done business with terrorists, right? No, I want you to know the U.S. isn't the first to do business with terrorists. The U.S. has been doing business with terrorists for a while. For a while, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you guys to understand this. That's why it's very important to get into history, right? He brought up that reporter, Al Jazeera reporter, he brought up something that was very good. He spoke about the Afghan-Russian war. And he brought up Osama bin Laden. And Osama bin Laden, he used to be our guy. We used to help Osama bin Laden. I want folks to understand, with everybody mad at Osama, I want you to understand we were giving money to Osama. We were Osama's boys. Do you understand this? I want people to understand this. We were Osama's boys. We were giving him money. We were giving him bread. So don't let any of these people in the government fool you. Once you know the history of the U.S., right? Not the watered down one where it's all rosy and the U.S. is somehow heroes across the world. I'm talking about the real, ladies and gentlemen, history. Then you get down to the real deal and the nitty-gritty of a lot of the stuff that's going on. A lot of the stuff that's going on. I had a debate with somebody the other day, and we were speaking about who, if the U.S. went to go free the Jews during the Holocaust, right? And somebody will say, yeah, the U.S. went to go free the Jews during the Holocaust. I said, no, they didn't. I said, no, they didn't. The USSR did. I said, go ahead and look it up. Everybody thinks that the U.S. went to go free the Jews. Let me tell you something. That's a lie. The USSR did. The Russians did, which is not being told. And it's right there in history. You can Google it and see it. So people got to be very abreast about history. Read. Here we go.
After the U.S. is completely out on the 31st, will you coordinate with the Taliban or give them notice if you plan to conduct more strikes against ISIS?
I don't think it's useful to get into hypothetical operations, future operations one way or the other. The only thing I would tell you is that the president has made it very clear that we will maintain robust over-the-horizon counterterrorism capability, the kinds of capabilities that you've seen us use in just the last 24, 36 hours, and we'll have the ability to act in ways that are in keeping with our national security interests and help prevent attacks on the homeland. We still have that capability. We will use that capability.
But what's not hypothetical is the fact that the U.S. military has been coordinating with the Taliban on the ground for the last 2 weeks or so. So to ask if you were going to continue coordinating with them, in this case against ISIS-K, isn't hypothetical. Will you continue to coordinate with the Taliban after August 31st?
I beg to differ. I actually think your question is entirely hypothetical about something that is entirely different than what we've been coordinating with the Taliban on over the last 2 weeks, which has been to help us get as many people onto that airport as possible. I do appreciate the sense of the question. I'm not trying to mock it. It's just that I don't think it's helpful for us to talk about what over-the-horizon counterterrorism capability is going to look like going forward and how we're going to execute it. Suffice it to say, we have the capability. We've demonstrated that over just the last couple of days in strikes that were not coordinated with the Taliban. And
and you killed children.
Does the Pentagon or CENTCOM or whomever it would be have the authority to continue to conduct strikes against ISIS-K after August 31st, or do those decisions have to go to the president on a case-by-case basis?
The commander on the ground has the authorities he needs right now. I'm not going to talk about authorities going forward. I will say this, not in terms of, I know what you're asking, specific approval authority for each and every strike. I won't talk about policy decisions going forward, except to say that the entire interagency, certainly the entire military chain of command, understands the existence of this threat and the possibility of this threat to continue to exist over time, and we have the capability to deal with it. Louis?
Following up on these contacts with the Taliban, have there been contacts with the Taliban about the U.S. withdrawal that's going to be taking place right now and over the coming days to ensure that there are no misinterpretations of what's going on?
The short answer to your question is yes. Without getting into detail, our commanders on the ground remain in communication with Taliban leaders around the airfield to deconflict and to prevent miscalculations and misunderstandings. And so far, that communication has been effective.
There you go. So he went and told a lie. I'm wondering why he didn't step up and say, you know what, we did an airstrike. I remember we told you we killed 2 ISIS-K members, right? Remember, we called them ISIS-K planners, right? That whole story is bogus. We killed children. We killed women. I'm sorry. Right? How come he didn't do that? Simple question. He could have easily cleared it up, but he went and told a lie. These people here, they have no idea what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. The Taliban is in full control. They don't know nothing. Absolutely nothing. Everything they're giving to you is conjecture, it's speculation, it's lies. All they have to do is be honest. You're already screwed up. People know you're dumb. Right? People already know you're dumb. People already know you're ridiculous. Why give us more of a reason to think about how dumb you are? But they did. They absolutely did, ladies and gentlemen. They absolutely did. GOP senators and House members had a press conference today, and they spoke about Biden leaving Americans behind. I want to go ahead and run this when it comes back. I want to speak about it because this, in my eyes, is very important. Take a look.
With what we are trying to do here, which is pushing this administration for accountabilities, making sure that we are not forgetting the folks who are on that ground, the American citizens that were left behind, our loyal Afghan allies who are still there. It is hard for me to compose how I feel right now because this has been such a crushing blow to those of us who believed in what we were trying to do overseas. The position that we put the men and women on the ground at Hamid Karzai International Airport is disgraceful. It's an embarrassment to this country. They were put in that impossible position. I changed my mind because of the impossible position they were in that left them no choice, but they should have never been in there for the first place. The leadership failures are legion within this administration, and we are here to press for accountability and to make sure this never happens again.
Remember, this decision was decided purely for a political date designed for a photo op. When that is the case, you're going to have casualties on a national stage. And that's what we just watched. There is a moment in time that had this president listened to his military, there'd still be the terrorist prisoners inside Bagram. We'd be getting every single American out. The military would not have left before the Americans. It would be a different scenario. And for a president who thinks they would do no different, he's wrong. Every crisis he has faced so far in this administration, he has failed. We don't want him to fail at this one, because if he does, Americans will die.
Mr. Leader, if I could answer the question that should have been asked, if you don't mind. Since they have left, the last aircraft has taken off, we're really not asking the question any longer about the 31st because on 30th they were gone. What we're really asking, and I'd love it if you'd ask that question, is do all of us support the principle that the United States has had for 240 years of not a millions for defense, not a penny for tribute. We want our people out without paying tribute. Do we all support whatever means it takes to get our Americans out without paying tribute? Ask that question and see what answer you get.
It's very simple to Bill. What is the plan to bring Americans home?
Absolutely. What is the plan to get Americans home? Good photo op, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy is one of those folks who like to talk. He's talk and do nothing. A lot of these Republicans here talk and do nothing. All this talking and blaming Biden. How many of you Republicans out there have drafted articles of impeachment? Ladies and gentlemen, all the talking they're doing, right? They're for accountability, right? That's what they say. If you're for everything that you're talking about, where is the articles of impeachment on Biden? Just wondering. Because I can tell you, if this was Trump once more again, you will find Nancy Pelosi, she'll put on the DNC shoes. You know the DNC shoes, right? Lying and cheating shoes. They put them on and they'll run to file these articles of impeachment. You actually have a really good chance to get them impeached. This blunder here is very big. It's to the magnitude of you can't get rid of it. So why not impeach him? I don't understand why these people are dragging their foot. But I do know why, because they're all talk and no game. Republicans right now like this, right? You like it because now the media isn't on your sorry ass, right? I understand. You can sit there and point your little crusty finger, right? Your little decrepit finger, right? Your little wrinkly ass finger like this. See, look at Biden. Biden had our soldiers killed. Yeah, tell him, McCarthy. Yeah, tell him. Biden had our soldiers killed. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Yeah, tell him, McCarthy. Tell him, McCarthy. Right? That's the way they act. But they don't, ladies and gentlemen, take action themselves. They like pointing the finger and sitting back. And I'm telling you, Republicans, you think you're slick. Trust me, my eye is on ya. You like this. You like sitting there pointing at Biden and screaming, you know what, he's a bad president. See, you like doing that. Republicans like to be losers. Right? You like being in that position and not doing anything. And I'm letting folks know that's what I call losers. That's what I call ducks. They're sitting ducks. Right? They're quacking, ladies and gentlemen, for people to hear, but they're not moving. There should be articles of impeachment right now drafted. The liberals should be shaking in their boots. Joe Biden should be thinking about how many mumbles and stumbles he gonna have to say to get out of it. But yet you guys are not doing it. You're making his presidency very easy. While they gave a hard time to Trump. And as a matter of fact, you guys gave a hard time to Trump as well. The national GOP gave Trump a hard time. And you give Biden an easy time. Ladies and gentlemen, you see how bad the GOP is? Think about it. They fought tooth and nail with Trump. I want people to understand it. Tooth and nail they fought with Trump. You gave Trump a hard time, GOP. You gave him a real hard time. Sleepy Joe. Joe who trips up the stairs. How does that happen? How do you trip up the stairs? You give him an easy time. Holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, these people are crazy. And nobody speaks about this. Gave him an easy time. I'm telling you. And people are thinking, oh, Jermaine, you know what? When the Republicans, gain control, guess what? We're going to get that Capitol police officer. We're going to make sure we open up an investigation. They're not going to do nothing. I have lost a lot of faith in the national GOP. And it's because of what they have shown me. Right? They have, they've shown me what they're worth. Let me tell you. And they're not worth a lot. They're not. And there'll be a day of reckoning coming for the GOP. There'll be a day when people will wake up to see what the GOP really is. That they're nothing but placeholders. Right? Remember I told you that the GOP is a place to come there and complain. You go there with your gripes, right? Hey, look at what these liberals are doing, right? And they tell you, hey, yeah, you see how bad these liberals are? They took down these statues, but don't you worry. We're going to hold the line here. We're going to try to make sure that they don't take down any more statues, right? Instead of trying to resurrect the statue up, and instead of trying to fight back, Republicans like to hold the line that the liberals bring it down. Republicans, it's in their nature. A lot of them are just pussycats. It is, and it's just, it's quite, how can I say, it's a shame in a sense. It is. That they don't have a fighting spirit in them. These people, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, they can play games all they want. But I'm letting you know, they're just you'll see what I'm talking about. They're just a placeholder group. That's it. And when you look at, and one of the best examples of this is a man by the name of John McCain. John Boehner and John McCain. And I'll end on this. John Boehner and John McCain hoodwinked Republicans for almost 8 years. Remember when John McCain and John Boehner, they got up real forcefully and said, you know what? This Obamacare is so bad. Hold on. This Obamacare is so bad. It's so bad. We're going to repeal and replace. All right. This is the GOP message, and it really sucks. But listen, repeal and replace. Hold on. Repeal and replace. We're going to repeal and replace. See, Obamacare is just destroying America. Look at all these premiums. Premium through the roof here. Premium there. Premium there. Look at Obama. He's a tap dancing. You know, they went all through there. They went all through that rigmarole, that jazz, that nonsense that they put out. And when they had the chance, ladies and gentlemen, to repeal Obamacare, you know what they did, right? You guys remember, right? That showed you who they were, right? When they had a chance to do it, they played the game. They all knew what was going on. They knew that, ladies and gentlemen, they were going along with Obamacare. They did. But they didn't want to be honest with their constituents, so they played us. They played us through and through, right? And I want people to understand, yeah, John McCain, the Republicans finessed us with the repeal and replace. And then it all came down to one vote. You guys remember that, right? You guys remember that one vote, right? John McCain. And before he died, he made sure, ladies and gentlemen, repeal and replace. Everybody and their mama know they have been finessed. Right? He made sure, ladies and gentlemen, Obamacare was the law of the land forever. He made sure he did it, the Affordable Care Act. So I want people to understand a lot of what they're saying is a finesse game. Because they believe that they can get you by saying that, you know, and they also love using this line too. Hey, we got to think about our children, right? This is how they finesse Republicans and conservatives into not getting nothing at all, right? While the Democrats give their constituents things, the Republicans withhold stuff from us. And then, you know what they tell you? Hey, you know what? You're grown. You should, you guys don't need any handouts. You guys don't need any handouts. You know, we got to think about our children. Look at the debt. I mean, my goodness gracious, that debt is high. Hold on. That debt is high. My goodness gracious, that debt is high. You know what I'm thinking about doing is sending, you know, a few $100 million to Pakistan for gender studies. That's what I'm thinking about doing. But don't you worry. We're not going to give you guys any money. You got to remember that debt is pretty high. That's the way they get you. That's the way they get you. So you have to start picking up on the tricks, right? We're conservatives, right? Some of you guys are Republicans. I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative / libertarian. So I'm letting you know, you have to start picking up on this. You have to stop being what we call, pogo stick rider. Some of you guys are pogo stick riders. You love the pogo stick. You get what I'm saying? Some of you guys are bandwagoners. You gotta get over that. You gotta stop it, because that type of mentality gets you finessed. These people who are in office, especially these Republican folks, they're supposed to be doing the right thing. Hold them accountable. You have to. And again, like I said, you have to pick a new crop, a new creed. These folks that we've been picking, they ain't cutting it. Not at all. Not in this new age. And I think the Republicans have to internalize that. That, you know, that the folks we've been picking, that you get what I'm saying, that their game is old. You get what I'm saying? If we're picking a basketball team, right, in 2021, I'm going to want to pick some new, fresh recruits. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to pick anybody from the 80s. You know, they might have been good in the 80s, but gosh darn it, we in a new ball game right now. You get what I'm saying? The 80s, they used to do this, right? 2021, they doing this. I'm trying to get one of them. So we have to think forward. We have to think smart. And I believe we can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming on in here, everybody for hitting that like button, everybody for sharing. I'll be on tomorrow with our good friend Mind of Jamal, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be going for about 2 hours, as you guys know. Make sure you get some rest, right? Take a nap if you can. You know, go to the gym, you know, work out that heart a bit, you know. Eat something, you know. And hang out with me tomorrow. All right? We'll definitely have a good time. And as you guys know, it'll be a nice show. We'll have a lot of folks to hang out with. And you know we're going to be roasting. Yeah, you know the roasting. Yeah, so we're going to have some good clips to roast. Yeah, you know, we do some nice roasting. You know, Jermaine liked the roast. A good roast is always nice, you know. Yeah, you know, a good roast is always nice. You know, I roasted my son earlier. Roasted him up and down. He wanted to fight me. Oh, man, it's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys take care. Have a very good night. And I'll catch you guys here tomorrow with another edition of Conservative Nation. You guys take care. Love ya and goodbye.